Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, the topic of our today's discussion is human salmonellosis, which is a bacterial zoonotic disease. The term salmonellosis covers a complex group of foodborne infections affecting both man and animals. Disease causes illness and death in humans, as well as it causes economic losses in the animal and food industries. The term food poisoning is also commonly applied to salmonellosis. Salmonellosis is a global problem. Human salmonellosis represents 60 to 80% of all reported cases of foodborne diseases. This problem is aggravated by the widespread use of animal feeds, which are containing the antimicrobial drugs that favor the drug-resistant salmonella and thus their potential transmission to humans. This disease can occur sporadically in the general population and usually from the food contaminated at its source. In developing countries where the diarrheal diseases they are widespread, the extent of salmonellosis is unclear. Now we will discuss the epidemiological determinants of human salmonellosis. First of all, we will discuss the agent factors. Salmonella, they comprise a large and important group of bacteria, and this group is quite big and it is known to comprise more than 2500 serotypes which are capable of infecting humans. However, in most countries, only a small number of them, that is usually about 10, are endemic at any one time. Salmonella, they are relatively resistant to various environmental factors. They are resistant to drying, salting, smoking, and freezing even for years. As a result, salmonella have been isolated from foods such as chocolates, biscuits, coconuts, and spices. This bacteria is sensitive to heat and cannot survive at temperatures above 70 centigrade. From an epidemiological point of view, salmonella they can be classified into three main groups, which are as follows. Number one, the group those which infect only man. These include Salmonella typhi and Salmonella paratyphi A and Salmonella paratyphi C. Number two, those that are host adapted for particular species of animal. That is, they infect only one particular species. Examples are Salmonella cholerae in swine, Salmonella dublin in cattle, and Salmonella abortus equi in horses, etc. Some of these are also pathogenic for man. The example is Salmonella cholerae and Salmonella dublin. Number three group include those with no particular host preferences and they can infect both the animals and the humans. The examples are Salmonella typhimurium and Salmonella enteritidis. Remember, Salmonella typhimurium is responsible for more than 50% of all the human salmonellosis cases all over the world. And recently, Salmonella enteritidis, it has also emerged as an important pathogen. These can be transmitted both ways from animals to man and vice versa. Main reservoir of Salmonella is the intestinal tract of man and animals. Sources of infection. The sources of infection could be contaminated food, contaminated animals, man, or the environment. Now we will discuss each of these sources in detail. Food. Foods of animal origin such as meat, poultry, or egg products, they are the primary sources of salmonellosis. Most of these foods, for example, meat and poultry, they become contaminated during the slaughtering. Cross-contamination of cooked foods from raw ingredients, kitchen, kitchen utensils, or surfaces, they are also the cause of salmonellosis. Every food that is produced or processed, which may include chocolate, spices, coconut, when they are processed in a contaminated environment, they may become contaminated. Eggs may be infected directly through cracks in the shell. However, the source of infection varies from country to country. For example, in USA, beef is the main source of salmonella infection, while in the England, majority of the cases occur because of poultry. Animals. Animals are the hosts and the principal vectors of zoonotic salmonellosis. Many animals, which include cattle, swine, rodents, they are naturally infected with a variety of salmonella and have the bacilli in their tissues, eggs, or excreta. Carriers occur among both the animals and man. Salmonella, they are widely distributed in the environment. They are found in dust, water, sewage, sludge, vegetables, birds, fish, rodents, and other mammals. They can survive in soil for months. They may even multiply in the warm environment provided by the high ambient temperature of many countries. Man may be infected from any of these above sources. Multi-drug resistant strains of Salmonella, they are now frequently encountered. Resistance to fluoroquinolones and third-generation cephalosporins is a serious development which results in severe limitation of the possibilities for effective treatment of human infections. Mode of transmission is by ingestion of contaminated food or drink. Man can contract the infection following direct contact with domestic animals, especially with dogs, pigeons, rats, mice, and insects. Once a person is infected, he becomes a source, and the infection may spread to others by the fecal-oral route. Transmission is facilitated by food handling methods, local customs, cooking and food habits, food processing, storage, and distribution methods, and the prevailing sanitary conditions. This slide is summarizing what Salmonella is. It is a bacteria that can produce a diarrheal illness, typically caused by eating contaminated food, and a person can also be infected by contact with infected animals. The incubation period of this disease is 6 hours to 72 hours. The disease arises from the ingestion of living organisms. Clinically, the disease may manifest itself into three syndromes, which includes enteric fever, Salmonella enterocolitis, and septicemia with focal lesions. Now we will discuss each of these in detail. Enteric fever. It is caused by Salmonella typhi, Salmonella paratyphi A, and Salmonella paratyphi C. These are the human pathogens and they are not considered zoonotic agents. Salmonella paratyphi B is predominantly found in man. These cause the enteric fever, that is typhoid, which has already been discussed. The second syndrome is Salmonella enterocolitis, that is gastroenteritis. It is the most common manifestation of Salmonella infection. 6 to 48 hours after the ingestion of Salmonella, there is nausea, headache, vomiting, diarrhea, and low-grade fever. However, most manifestations are mild, with diarrhea as the only symptom. In severe cases, there may be dehydration requiring the replacement of fluid and electrolytes. Death is relatively rare and occurs primarily in neonates, infants, and the elderly. The third syndrome is septicemia with focal lesions. In it, non-typhoid salmonella, for example Salmonella chlorosuis, may occasionally invade the bloodstream, leading to a generalized or localized infection presenting itself as pyrexia of unknown region. In it, the focal infection may result in osteomyelitis, pyelonephritis, arthritis, meningitis, cholecystitis, and endocarditis. Stool cultures are negative, but the blood cultures they are positive. This slide is showing you a brief overview of the symptoms, that is within 12 to 72 hours there is nausea, vomiting, fever, diarrhea and abdominal cramps, and within 4 to 7 days the illness ranges from mild to severe and the most people recover without treatment. Severe cases they are more likely to occur in infants, elderly people with impaired immune system. Now we will discuss the prevention and control of Salmonella. Since Salmonellosis is a zoonotic disease in origin, so the preventive measures they should begin at the farm level and embrace all the elements of food chain through live animals, animal products, processing, final food preparation to food consumption. The approaches indicated at the farm level they include the following: disease control measures, that is immunization of the farm animals against salmonellosis, the use of hygienic animal feed, and ensuring a sanitary environment for the animals. The aim is to raise salmonella-free animals. Other preventive and control measures include hygienic slaughtering and milking, pasteurization of milk and eggs, proper disposal of liquid and solid waste, proper cold storage facilities, and health education and training. Since health sector alone cannot solve the problem of salmonellosis, so responsibility for prevention and control measures may fall to agriculture, veterinary, and other ministries outside the health sector. This concludes our today's lecture. Thank you very much.